I'm on the drugs right now. I can use your love right now. But instead they tryna tear me down. I'm just tryna tell you.
All right, man. We'll be all right. So we yeah, fuck it. We got through all the YouTube versus TikTok shit. Week was cool. It's Juneteenth, so let's talk a little Juneteenth for him. Young Dizzle. Also, I think it'd be a good idea to just for people to get an idea of what Juneteenth is, because I feel like even a lot of black people aren't like 100% of like what the history is and all that. And I feel like I could probably learn something as well, to be honest.
Yeah, we like learning.
Just shut up. Imagine like, sorry, but I started doing steroids. Bro, fucking.
I'm taking dark rage.
Yeah, so Juneteenth is a federal holiday in the United States commemorating the end of slavery.
And that's recent, right? That it became a holiday.
I know that a lot of more businesses have been commemorating or observing Juneteenth, especially during the George Floyd incident. Pandering. But I got work last year off it, so I'll take it.
Okay.
But yeah, basically, we all know like slavery was outlawed eventually, but then it took years for it to actually get to Texas. And because slaves were still enslaved in Texas and didn't know they were free until Union soldiers came and said, hey, all these slaves here are free. And that day was on June 19th. So Texas celebrates that day as the day that slavery is officially over for them. And it's a very controversial holiday in the black community for many reasons. Normally, like people who are pro Juneteenth use it to commemorate their freedom and use it as a way to express African American culture. I know even in LA, you go to View Park, and there's a lot of like festivals, shows, performances, and food, and they're really celebrating black culture. But I know a lot of black people don't like it because it feels like it's just shining light on the terrible history, and we're just like stuck on the past type things.
Well, what do you feel about that? What side are you on for that? Do you like that people celebrate, or do you like that we shouldn't celebrate because it shouldn't have happened?
Yeah, I understand both sides completely, but personally, I like the side of celebrating because anytime to purposely like celebrate black culture and the world has to like acknowledge it and give some sort of appreciation for it, even though it's two-faced. Yeah. I feel that's pretty good at the end of the day. But I understand why people don't like it at all as well.
Yeah. Solid's having a little Juneteenth thing. I saw him put a flyer up on his page, so he has a little event going on tomorrow.
I would shout it out, but by the time this goes out, it will have already passed.
Oh yeah. Facts.
We'll live tweet it right now.
Yeah, so okay, it's the newest federal holiday. Yeah, because I knew it's very recent that they made it a federal holiday.
Yeah.
That
I like I'm not black, obviously, but I do
actually?
Hold on.
I'm coming with braids next week.
On.
I'm coming with braids.
Bro, you didn't tell me he wasn't black.
You said your boy
what
was
was the Black Effect podcast?
Like, cuts the camera. He's off the show.
Yeah, oh my god. That wasn't in the contract.
I get a low percentage because I'm not black.
Like the polls, man. Like,
but dude, I'm all for like finding the positive in every negative. So it's like when you do celebrate, I think it's a little bit healthier for people to understand, and it's also educating us. That's the main part. Like I've heard it. I never took my time to do research, and if I did, it was probably like fucking headline news. But after you explain it, I'm like, oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And it shows me both sides. I like that aspect.
Yeah, and so I guess the timing, so it was 2 months after the Civil War, so it took that long for word to get however word was traveling, that's how long it took. And so this just became a federal holiday on June 17th.
What year?
So 2 days ago. Yesterday. Literally yesterday the bill was signed. That's why it's been talked about, but I'll read this part, and then I'm gonna read off what one of his reps said.
I was like, wait, what?
This country's a fucking joke. This country is a fucking joke.
They give niggas 2 days heads up.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when did Juneteenth become a federal holiday? President Biden signed bipartisan legislation making Juneteenth a federal holiday on June 17, 2021. The bill passed the Senate unanimously and was approved 415 to 14 in the House. So 14 people weren't approving. Okay, that's kind of weird. Congressional leaders from both parties said establishing the holiday was an important gesture in recognizing those who suffered under American slavery and as an act of racial reconciliation. One of the reps said, as it takes on a more national and even global perspective, the events of 1865 in Texas are not forgotten, for all of our roots tie back to this fertile soil in which a national day of pride is growing, said Rep. Sheila Jackson Lee, Texas, who sponsored the bill. Juneteenth is the first federal. Nah, I feel like we read enough.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think it's a.
Well, obviously
I'm not
Trump
complaining.
wouldn't pass this shit.
Trump
Like,
actually said recently. He said that he takes credit for Juneteenth being popularized. There's a quote from him.
I should slap
really?
that nigga. Bro.
Yeah.
No way.
Why? Why do you say that?
Was
Was it Twitter? Did he say something on Twitter?
Let me see. I'll look it up.
And
Trump.
you might have a point. 'Cause a lot of white people don't know nothing about it.
Juneteenth. I made Juneteenth very famous. The inside story of Trump post George Floyd month. Trump claimed that he made Juneteenth famous. Sorry, I don't. Oh, actually.
That's the first thing.
They don't see that shit too. I'm just like,
Hey, well, look. All we saw in big ass letters, big ass bold letters. After you said that, you said Trump claims he did Juneteenth. The Trump campaign didn't know Juneteenth existed. Like, that's all we saw in the laptop.
Trump's former campaign manager, Brad Parscale, who selected the date and location for Trump's first rally in months, was apparently unaware of the date's significance in America. Trump's announcing that the rally's date to reporters caused massive public. See, they always fuck it up. Massive published backlash? No, public.
Published.
See?
They new editors, bro.
Yeah.
New editors.
Adding to the mounting criticism Trump had received for his response to the murder of George Floyd by a Minneapolis police officer. I don't want to get off topic, but like, do y'all know? Because remember he did the Juneteenth. He did his rally on Juneteenth, and do you remember where he did it in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Where one of the
when they
biggest
had
massacres
yeah.
ever happened. And like, bro, fuck, I had stats for it the other day. But the amount of literally, so here's what happened. If I'll go brief rundown of. Are we getting too off topic?
No,
what are we talking about? Oh, Juneteenth. Okay.
Yeah.
So when he did that on Juneteenth, people it's so crazy how people were acting. Well, he probably didn't know. Bro, do you know how fucking historical of a place that is in terms of what happened? It was literally, I'm gonna blank out on the names. I have them written somewhere, but regardless, there was a guy and a girl. A guy, apparently a black guy, goes into an elevator with a white girl. They don't know exactly what happened. All they know is they heard she screamed, accused him of something, right? It's like literally the fucking Emmett Till story, but a different version of it. He gets arrested. She later recanted, by the way. She later said,
he didn't do anything.
Wasn't true.
Type shit. He's locked up. A bunch of whites begin to protest outside of where they know he's at, right? And then from there, some black people come along, and now they're getting into it. Basically, the whites begin burning down the whole town, and it's Black Wall Street, the death of Black Wall Street, thriving black people, thriving communities. They're burning down houses. I wish I could tell you the death toll.
A lot of people.
The death toll.
Yeah,
Let's fuck it.
Look that shit up. You know.
A lot of people.
Power of editing.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, not cool, but so it's it ranges from. They say it ranges from up to 300 dead. I was gonna say 300, but 300 sounded like such a crazy amount. I didn't want to just sound stupid quoting some shit.
Yeah.
And it is
This is a small
confirmed
ass
300.
town.
And the thing is, those remains were never dug up. They don't know. They took their bodies. They would just take them away. And the newspapers at the time were calling it protest type things, or the race protest or whatever stuff, and they weren't calling it what it was, which is just a straight massacre. And it's crazy, bro. People's houses were getting burned out. People were just getting killed. It was straight anarchy. And and he held his rally there on Juneteenth. And then this is the same guy that's saying Juneteenth is popular because of me. Yeah, because everyone was like, bro, do you know what day he did this shit on? And then everyone's, what happened on Juneteenth? And then, do you know what day he did it on? Plus the location he's doing it at. And it's, I don't know.
That was
crazy,
his campaign rally.
He did a campaign rally
Man,
shortly after the George Floyd stuff. Bro. Yeah. But yeah, so Juneteenth, everyone's.
Oh, I want to say one more
about
thing.
it. Oh yeah.
I think Juneteenth is very important to acknowledge and talk about, because I am of African descent. I'm literally a first generation American, so I don't really consider myself an African American, as Juneteenth is more of an African American holiday. But I had an adoptive African American grandmother, and she educated me on Juneteenth. And I thought it was very important to educate me on, because she told me how that it was delayed, slaves in Texas didn't know that they were free. And I feel like it's important to talk about that, because it's just more examples of this country's atrocities. They finally freed the slaves. They didn't even tell the slaves they were free.
Yeah.
So they were basically working for free when they didn't have to. It's important for people to know shit like that happens. Like the Tulsa massacre you're talking about. It's important to know shit like that happens in this country, because they will not teach us this in schools.
And you know what's also fucked up? I forgot this detail, but I'm seeing it now. Is the Oklahoma Bureau, their records, they report 36 people dead. And there's literally records of 300, but in terms of their actual death certificates, 36 dead. When the city was, but the thing is, so here's the thing, people racist, and they're so fucked up and stupid, right? they were putting that shit out as postcards, right? The pictures of massacres, of bodies and stuff like that, of all this shit going on, they were using them as postcards to send out. So what they did in at the same time as doing that is you basically just have evidence. You can't deny it when you all took pictures and have postcards still dating back to that day. So that shit that they took is actually very helpful in it being historical. Like, you can't deny it because there's literally pictures of this shit. They documented it for themselves, and now they've tried to redact stuff, but they can't. Like, it's seen. People have seen it, and there's still survivors today. Well, the survivors I've seen speaking actually aren't with us anymore, but they had, people had survived and went on to tell their story and to tell what things were like, and just to try to get people to understand what happened, man. But yeah, that shit's that's just messed up.
Yeah. As an African American with a very unique standpoint, I personally do not like the idea of Juneteenth. Nor do I like the fact that Joe Biden is the one signing it into office, especially during all this, race is a hot topic now. And I think Juneteenth kind of serves as the consolation prize for the after effects of George Floyd happening, as well as, and I'll say, I don't know I think we talked about it before, but just the plethora and multitude of black people now that are in every single commercial. It doesn't matter what company it is. Black people are in hella commercials. And me from me looking in, I'm like, hey, if commercials and holidays is all we get, I'm not fucking happy. And I'm not saying I'm speaking for every single black person, because like I said, I'm only speaking for myself, but I don't need another fucking holiday. And I think we talked about it earlier with the critical race theory about how I don't like it, because what it's doing is you're reminding the, let's say, black kids 6 years old that their only history is in America. And your only history that you have to look back is slavery. That's pretty much our starting point in this country. So what that does to your consciousness is pretty much degrades you in another way, regardless if you're not, they don't talk about it, or we need people to know about it. Okay, there's an argument for that. But what it does to the individual to learn that this is my only history, America, and I was a slave, and all this fucked up shit happened to me, yeah, that's good to know, but damn, I don't feel good about it. And the people that we have talking for us is fucking entertainers and rappers and basketball players. These motherfuckers, they're not, no, like, if you wanted to have somebody political, Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, like, even government agent, whatever, but at least we were smarter back in the day. Like, we had way more shit going for us than what we had now. So Juneteenth, looking on it, I'm like, this is not, I don't know how to feel about, thank you for, took us years in America to get voted for the right to vote, but in 2 days you could sign something federally to give you a fucking holiday. Thanks.
Well, I don't know if you mean in 2 days.
I mean,
just
different times.
He signed it 2 days ago or 1 day ago, but I think it's not a bad thing. I can't see it as a bad thing. I mean, Jews have hella holidays. It's just adding a holiday. I could see you calling it like pandering, and it might be like a lot of this stuff. It's kind of hard to have a fucking compass of like how much of this. Did you feel like this prior to stuff? But also people are able to grow and see things differently. But at the same time, it's sometimes, even if stuff is pandering, at least it's I think there is an impact in terms of kids are going to grow up with knowing what Juneteenth is, and like schools are going to have Juneteenth and people are going to have days off. It does make like Rosh Hashanah and shit like that. I know these holidays because we had school off for them. So it's like Jewish people have a lot of holidays. I think it's cool that we're getting more holidays. I don't think it's like, all right, cool, equality is here now. But I think it's a good direction, step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny how like we're celebrating the end of slavery in this country. Like the country wasn't the one that legally enslaved people. But whatever. I think it's pretty, ironic.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing because like that is
celebrate the wins we give you.
Yeah, basically.
Celebrate the wins we give
you. Hey, remember when I stopped being as much of an asshole, just a little bit less of an asshole? Remember that? We should like celebrate me being a better person to you.
That's not eating cake. That's not the same shit. I don't know. I'll leave it for
But if you think about it though, our country, well, I don't know, because I mean you can make the argument our country did go to a civil war to end slavery, but at the same time there's other factors when you look at like Abraham Lincoln starting the abolishment of slavery and what what actual slaves were doing to actually push for that freedom. So it all ties in. But yeah, it'll probably be a conversation for another day. We could go on, but I like all those viewpoints. Honestly, you guys are smart. Not bad.
College students, fucking college students. What's wrong with y'all?
Dude, that fucking year changed everything for me, man. You fucking dumbasses.
Is that what they teach you in college?
Next up, similar but different. So there's recently been a 700-pound bronze.
Girl, I'm off the drugs right now. I could use your love right now, but they steady trying to tear me down. I just wanna tell you now, you could be my